Hey guys, it's Emma here and I have my recent reads slash favourite read for August for you now. So as normal, I will go through my list on Goodreads and just say everything I read this month and where I got it from, and then I will just recommend my favourite one at the end. So here we go, without further ado. So the first thing I read, it was on my Kindle, but it was one that I had bought a while ago. And I was reading it before I read the sequel, so it's Ready Player One, so that was on my Kindle, and then I read a couple of comics that are in our collection that I hadn't read yet, so there was Nomen Omen Volume 3, so I read the first two last month, and Drain Volume 1 as well, and then I read Ready Player 2 on my Kindle, and then from the Kindle Unlimited subscription I read a bunch of true crime biographies, so they were all like as one. So it was Ted Bundy, Edmund Kemper, H.H. Holmes, Charles Manson and Jack the Ripper. Then I read another comic from our collection called Primer, and The Princess Who Saved Herself, that was another comic, and another one was The Dead Boy Detectives. Then on Kindle Unlimited I read some manga, which I've never done before, so that was Disney manga, and it was Toy Story Volume 1. And also from Kindle Unlimited I read The Umbrella Conspiracy, which is one of the Resident Evil books. And then one of my books that I bought, a physical copy, was The Sixth Sense novelisation. So I bought that a couple of months ago, so I read that. And then from our collection again, big hardcovers, I read comics. I read Y the Last Man, book 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then another book that I bought a physical copy of, The Midnight Library. And then it was a book from my sci-fi and fantasy box of stories, I think, The King of Elfland's Daughter. And then I got back to Y the Last Man and I read Y the Last Man book 5, which is the last one. And the last thing I read was a book that I borrowed from someone, and that was The Hot Zone, The Chilling True Story of an Ebola Outbreak. So, fun reading. So there is what I read in August. So before I go through my favourite read, there's an honourable mention, and this was my favourite read until I read the thing that's now my favourite read, and it is Primer. So I mentioned that, it's one of our comics. It's a small one compared to like a normal volume in comics, which would be like that size. It's one of my Alien ones. So you can see that it is definitely smaller. It's from DC, and it's basically it's like a teen, maybe young adult comic. Like, it's not aimed at adults, but it's just amazing. It's about this girl who basically she discovers, like, she's a foster kid, and her new foster parents, the mom has like these special paints that they're working on for like the government. And basically this girl gets into the paints because she is an artist, and when she paints certain paints on her body, she gets these powers from these paints, and then so she basically just starts becoming like a superhero. And yeah, she looks amazing. I mean, that's just some of the artwork there. It's just gorgeous. The colours are just amazing. So yeah, I really love this. As I say, it's not necessarily for me. It says in the back there like DC for kids, but it was just amazing, and this was going to be my favourite until the one I read that became my favourite. So without further ado, my favourite book is The Hot Zone, that one about Ebola. So yeah, as I said, that one was my favourite until I read this one, and this one was just, it just blew me out of the water. As I say, I borrowed this, so I'm going to be giving it back to them soon. But yeah, I absolutely love this book. It was so interesting, but also terrifying. So this is actually, it's not a new book. It came out in like the 90s, I think. It was like 94, 95, something like that. Yeah, 94. So yeah, it's not a new one, but it's about the Ebola outbreak, and it's kind of like between like the early 80s to like maybe the early 90s. And it's just fascinating, but as I say, absolutely terrifying. But I'm into that kind of stuff as well, just like reading those kind of things, and the way it's written is just so well. Like, I love historical fiction, so like I read a lot of like Tudor stuff, like Philippa Gregory and all that, But yeah, historical fiction is something that I really enjoy if it's a topic I'm really interested in, and this is kind of like that, because it is giving you the facts, but it's also a story, so it's, you know, like, she got up and she did this and she went there and blah blah blah, but like, you know, written as a story where like he did interview a lot of people, I think, and kind of did get the main story from them, but obviously embellishing it as a writer. But yeah, as I say, this, The Hot Zone, and it was by Richard Preston. I think he's actually written another couple of books like that kind of thing, so I'm probably going to check them out. But yeah, that is my favourite read for August, the Hot Zone, and I can't recommend it enough. I just found it absolutely fascinating. So yeah, you should give that a read. But that is it. So that is it for this one, guys. Leave any comments down below if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. And give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and I will catch you next time, guys. Bye.